there is something magical for me that happens when you get kids and people who are passed by together. And I just love you witnessing to the imprints and the way it's impacting your family's life.
Yeah.
Abby, I'm so glad to have you today for Moms Change the World. It's really special with the work that you've done and also just our friendship. You're one of my closest friends, and I just am excited to have you on today.
I'm so excited to be here. This is so fun.
And I think it's amazing because you're about 5 days from your due date. Tell people where we are.
5 days from the due date with number 4. I have 3 boys at home. And already this baby is disobeying me because I would have liked it to come already, but we're here.
And do you know if it's a boy or girl?
We don't know. We're going to be surprised.
What does the mom gut say?
Well, it keeps changing every day.
Mm-hmm. Today. Where are we today?
Today, I think it's a girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not out of just hopes. It's just a feeling.
You feel it.
I would be delighted with 4 boys.
Yes. You know, all your friends are taking bets on the day and the gender.
That's right.
And I hope that I win. That's all I got to say.
Yours was a little bit late in the runnings, though.
I know, but I feel pretty good about my decision. Not for you, but for my actual guess.
Well, as long as you're not doing a 10-pound baby, then I'm good with that too.
No 10-pounder. Too much. Well, I was so excited to have you because you have been an example to me of Moms Change the World from really the beginning of my work, because when we met, you were working with refugees, you and your family. Will you tell us a little bit about that work?
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe about 10 years ago, I would guess, an older couple from church kind of got us involved with Gateway of Grace, which is an awesome ministry here in town that really just serves typically more of like the Middle Eastern refugees. It's headed by somebody from Iran that was a refugee herself and actually fled and came here and started it. And so she really knows what they need and what's good for them, and isn't just kind of one of those examples of like when helping hurts. And so I got really involved in it right away, and then Ben kind of slowly tagged along, my husband Ben, and then we got like completely immersed in it, where we adopted a family, and it was a single mom with 5 kids who was here from Iraq. She basically, the first day that I met her, was so desperate and was like, I need a job and I need somebody to take all 5 kids of mine to the shot clinic tomorrow. And at the time I wasn't working. And so I took him to the city, like the city's shot place, and had to learn all of their birthdays, had to learn all their social security numbers, had to learn all of their fake birthdays because they weren't really even registered correctly. And I'm filling out all of these forms without Azra there. So the mom's not there. She's in an interview at McDonald's. And I am taking care of these 5 kids to get these shots. And basically from that day, I was like, I'm all in with them. I felt like I was kind of like their second mom and helped them kind of through all the different things of life in Dallas.
And how did they integrate with the life of your family?
Well, so much that the family actually, let's see what was going on. Azra was having some health issues. She was in the hospital, and we had the boys living at our house and the girls were living at our friend Mary's house while I was pregnant with my second son. And so they were kind of involved with Hill being born and then Johnny being born. I think Azra taught me how to swaddle the correct way, the Iraqi way, which is way tighter than American. And I learned so much so they were involved in our family's life, but also we learned a lot about parenting and just families and the role of children and just the beauty of children from Azra herself.
Tell me some of the ways, like some takeaways you had from observing her mothering and the integration between her family and your family. What stood out to you?
She really raised like very capable kids. I remember one night, so she was working a lot, like working at McDonald's around the clock. And one night Ben and I went over there and the kids said, and I mean, at this time they were probably, I mean, they were definitely all in lower school-aged kids. So probably like everybody was under 10 in the house, staying alone in the house, all of them together. And we walked in and they said, we heard about this thing called pancakes. And so we just figured out how to make them by scratch. And so they were all, I mean, making them not with like Bisquick or something. Like, I mean, they were making them with flour, sugar, flipping them themselves, doing it all themselves, doing all their homework by themselves, putting themselves to bed. And it was just really remarkable how much just confidence she instilled in them, but also just how much kind of like, I don't know. She just really empowered them to be strong, capable humans.
It's so different from, I think, generally how Americans think about raising our kids. I definitely struggle with, I think, coddling my kids, or maybe I get too tired of asking them to do the same thing over and over again. So I just do it for them. But it's so interesting because she was working so much. There was a need for her to train her kids up.
Oh, yeah.
And in some ways, that was just a necessity, it sounds like, in her life, that they had to be able to do more on their own.
That's right. That's right. I mean, they had to be able to do almost everything on their own. I mean, unless Ben and I or Mary and Randy were over there, I mean, they had to figure out how to walk to school by themselves, walk home by themselves, get their homework done, get it back in their folders, remember doctor's dates, remember dentist dates, all of those things. Not because Osra was absent, but because she was the only provider for their family and working a low-wage job.
That's what's so different, I think, from my perception versus the reality, is I would picture kids like that not knowing how loved they were. But it sounds like she was very present mom, very capable in caring herself. Oh, yeah. And they knew how loved they were, which is really remarkable.
Completely. I mean, completely loved. And I mean, I think that they knew the sacrifice that she was making, and it puts it so into perspective for us who oftentimes don't have to make that same kind of sacrifice. I mean, we think we do sacrifice a lot for our children, but to that extent, and for her to trust kind of somebody that she had never met before, to take her kids to all these different appointments and to trust to teach them, you know, English, to teach them different things that they needed.
Will you share a little bit with me kind of your own upbringing and story, and then where this calling from God came for you, how you understood to integrate your own life and the life of your family into the life of this refugee family? Will you tell me a little context for who you are and how God shaped you to be in this place where you felt called and actually acted on doing this?
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so I grew up in Dallas. I am one of 5 kids. We grew up Catholic and going to Catholic school and Catholic church. And I think that Catholicism really does a great job of your community being all-encompassing. You go to the same church, same school, you do all your sports together. Everything is kind of in this great little pod of togetherness. And I think I saw that, especially my dad died when I was really little, when I was 8, and the community just came around and met every need possible. And so I think that that's always just kind of been instilled in me, is just you kind of just come to the need of those around you. And my mom was always really good about that too, of like, oh, somebody doesn't have a place to go for Thanksgiving. Well, invite them over today. That we can add another chair to the table. And so kind of just this open house, open door invitation that anybody is welcome. I think that's one side of it. But then also our very best family friends were from Iran growing up. And so I remember telling my mom, I really wish that I wasn't American. I wish I was from Iran or something else. I think I'm supposed to be from somewhere else. And so I've always loved other cultures, people that were different from me, and learning the different foods, learning the different dances, all of those different things. And so basically from, I think, like age 7, they were our best friends. And so that became my favorite food, and that became like my favorite things to do, was to go over to their house and learn about them. So I think that those all kind of just weaved their way through. And so it actually ended up making me go study at university. International relations was my major. And then afterwards... Hook 'em horns. That's right. And then afterwards, I think I was just blown away by how international Dallas is. And so even beyond this family, we also started doing a Bible study for Muslims that were seeking Christianity, or just had questions about everything under the sun. So we'd provide a dinner. Actually, we didn't even provide it. It was a potluck dinner. So everybody brought their own foods, which was amazing. And we'd dance and we'd sing and we'd ask good questions. And I mean, a lot of these people are traumatized from their past. And so they have a lot of questions about God and a lot of questions about religion and all of that kind of stuff. And so we loved it. I mean, it was like kind of our life for a while. And then bringing Hill into it too, it was just kind of like second nature. I'm like, well, this is what we do on Wednesday nights, so we're going to bring Hill into it. And then same with Johnny. And so, yeah, I think that I don't know a group of people that were more excited that I was pregnant and more excited to hold the baby and tell me how I should hold the baby and how I should do this and how I should do that. And they also have a secret sense about like when the baby's coming, if it's a boy or if it's girl. Like, I trust them more.
We need them now.
I know, that's true. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just such a privilege to get to see that and just to get to be a part of all their lives for that time.
I think it's so special being your friend, your and Ben's friends, and your whole family, because I get to watch how open-hearted you all are and how you move through the world. So I saw you all do this with Gateway of Grace and the way that you opened your home to this family and really how much they impacted you and you impacted them. And then I've seen you do that with friends from church. And then you've even begun investing with your family in the human impact and bringing your kids to the streets. And I just have so much respect and honor for you all, just really getting to observe you and be a part of the Davis orbit, and just how hospitable and open-hearted you all are, and the way that people feel so loved and welcome in your presence. And it's just really special getting to observe that. Will you tell us a little bit about your work with the human impact and what that's been like for your family?
Yeah. Well, I think the same about you. I just feel so honored that we get to be a part of the human impact. I think that this organization is one of those organizations that takes it away from metrics and numbers and all of that and really, really just scales it down to a one-on-one relationship with a person and really sees people. And I think if we're instilling something in our children, it's to see people directly in front of us and to look at people in the eyes and to get to know their names and just honor every person that is on this earth. And so I've learned that a lot from you. But it has been so sweet doing it with the boys, just walking the streets. And I think I'm always surprised that somehow they end up playing some kind of funny sport with people. And yesterday they were playing football, and I feel like a couple weeks ago they were playing soccer. And we have some funny stories of them going up to people's cars and them telling them, "Don't start smoking."
Better coming from them than
yes,
from us.
and I'm just, it's amazing. But I think one thing that you've told me is just giving people the dignity of being around children. And I think that there is nothing better than being around children. They just bring so much joy and lightness and curiosity and wisdom. And it just kind of makes it a level playing field that if I was to approach somebody just by myself, it wouldn't do the same thing as me going with Sam yesterday and talking to Darlene and him being goofy and kind of being obstinate and giving her a dap and whatever. It's just that puts a smile on her face that maybe I couldn't have done by myself. And so, yeah, we've been involved by doing walking the streets, and I think also like things like the caroling and the Christmas time, or some of the worship nights. Every single time we're blessed. I think I've said this before, but every single time that the boys think that they're giving something, they always end up receiving something actually tangibly, like usually a snack or a piece of candy. And I'm like, guys, do you not see? You're always receiving more when we are trying to give. And they always have funny stories to tell about after, and it really enriches us.
I love the snacks comment, because one of the reasons my kids love coming to the streets is that someone always has a snack for them, like a pack of Oreos or some chip, and they're pretty excited to receive that. To your point, I think we go out thinking we're going to be the ones giving.
Yeah.
And we receive from the relationship, from getting to know someone.
That's right.
And we receive sometimes physically, especially the kids. People love to bless the kids.
I know. Every single time I think they've received something.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So we really love it. And I think just in the way that you lead, the way that you do these debriefs after, I am so amazed by it, because I think it really does. It's just another voice speaking into my children saying, whose name did you hear today? Who did you get to meet? And let's pray for that person. And, a couple of weeks ago when we went on the streets, I had them journal after and write down all the names of the people and write down what they saw and what they heard, and, using our senses, like you say. And I just feel like those are other imprints that are coming in from other sources than just my mouth, that they're able to learn that knowing somebody's name is a really big deal, and seeing somebody's eyes is a really big deal, and being able to even have a safe place for their questions, of kind of why are these people in this place? What's going on with them? And having that dialogue is what is really changing their hearts.
Yeah, I was really struck by the little girl yesterday when I opened it up for questions, and she said, how do they get there? And I thought, that's a really bold, brave, and insightful question. And to be able to tell her at she's maybe 7 or 8 years old, that most people were raised in poverty, that they tell the story of their homelessness beginning with the loss of someone really important to them, and that they end up on the streets oftentimes without financial resources, but also feeling very alone. And what a human thing to know, like even as a kid, we know what it's like to feel alone.
Right.
And I think for kids to experience how much their lives matter, that like they can see someone else and give to them of themselves, and how important they are in bringing the kingdom of heaven to earth, that it's not just for us, the parents, but it's also for the children. And Jesus says that again and again in the New Testament, that the kingdom of heaven belongs to the children. Don't take them away, bring them to me. And so there is something magical for me that happens when you get kids and people who are passed by together. And I just love you witnessing to the imprints and the way it's impacting your family's life.
Yeah, it does. And I think the more that people can put away some of their fears and just bring their kids into what they're already doing, that is all that God is really asking of us. And so whether it is baking bread, or whether it is go grocery shopping, or whether it's going to the streets, or whether it's, talking to the postman and asking him his name, it's just teaching them all the time that those are ways that we give human dignity. And yeah, I think of it as really just like such a ministry of presence, of just being with them.
Mm-hmm. And isn't that what mothering is?
Yeah, that's right.
It's just a ministry of
it's
presence.
Just a lot of presence.
I think what stands out to me so much in your story and the way that your family has loved, which the thrust of Moms Change the World is encouraging parents, moms, to pray and think with their families through one vulnerable group that they're called to invest in, but to think of it in terms of developing just one relationship. Mm-hmm. And I think your story is so powerful because, especially with the Gateway of Grace refugee family, it was one family that you invested in, and that was so transformative. And I think sometimes we have such a high bar. We think we have to change the world by ourselves.
Yeah.
But the whole point is doing small things with great love.
That's right.
And that when many of us pick up that call, the world does change through the small things with great love.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And I think it doesn't even have to be through a huge organization or whatnot. I think even just thinking really small, who is your neighbor? Truly, who is your neighbor? Our neighbors next door to us are in their 70s, and I would say that they're my boys' best friends. A couple of years ago, I asked who they wanted to have at their birthday party, and they said, my best friends, Mr. Rick and Miss Gail, and probably our cousins. And so we need to work on having more friends. But I think just even looking at where am I? Where has God put me? And what is my circle of influence? And how can I just be faithful right there?
I love that. I mean, think how many elderly people who live alone are in our neighborhoods and no one even knocks on the door to check on them and have a conversation. Or there's a big bread craze right now. Bake them some homemade bread and bring it to your neighbor.
That's
and
right.
make sure your kids know who they are. And
that's right.
It is so simple.
And I mean, even during the ice storm the other day, I mean, the boys, I had them go door to door and ask if they could scrape their driveways and stuff. And I think it's just such low-hanging fruit is what I think that you're also just saying in this Moms Change the World is it's really, really, really the simple little things and just involving your kids with you in those.
Well, I think I couldn't have said it better myself. We're going to end on that note.
Great.
Thank you so much,
I love
Abby.
being with
We'll have to
you.
report in to everyone about the baby
That's right.
and all the fun things coming.
Yes, that sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.